More than a car, it's building a relationship with some pretty amazing humans.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Behind the Brand, a podcast where we take a look behind the brands and the businesses that we love. We believe that behind every great business, behind every great brand is a great story, great people. And I'm excited about our guest today because we're talking about something that I love, and that's cars. We have with us the president of Back to the Bricks, a very familiar event in our area. And we're super excited to talk about what's going on. So we have the president, Amber Taylor. Amber, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here today. I know we had a little bit of a schedule change, so we appreciate you being flexible. So before we get into cars and Back to the Bricks and all the fun stuff that's coming up, and I know a lot of people are looking forward to it, why don't you tell our audience a little bit about yourself?
Well, I think the biggest shock is that I'm actually not a Michigander.
Okay.
So I moved here over 19 years ago, and I actually moved from California. I'm a California girl. And,
Where at in California?
well, I was born and raised in Santa Maria,
Okay.
which is right on the coast, about an hour north of Santa Barbara. And so I grew up with it being 75 degrees on Christmas morning,
Yeah.
which is pretty fun.
Yeah.
But then I lived in Northern California for 10 years, and I lived in the woods, basically. I actually lived looking at two volcanoes, Mount Lassen and Mount Shasta. Went to high school, did all this crazy stuff in high school, and actually did multimedia in high school, which is super funny to be on a podcast today.
Oh.
It was before it was cool
Back
to
to your
do.
roots.
Yeah, back to my roots for sure. I was the lunchtime coordinator, which was really great. But, I traveled a lot with my ex-husband. He was in the military, and we lived everywhere to include Germany for 4 years.
Wow.
So I've traveled the
Incredible.
world. It was super fun. But I will tell you, unequivocally, Michigan has it all. And I'm so thankful my kids were, born and raised here and had the opportunity to go to school here and experience the Four Seasons and still be able to travel, jump on a
Yeah.
plane and go to crazy places and have fun. But Michigan really has it all. And the best part
does.
about it is the car show season for me. So
Yeah. Well, I was born and raised here, but we moved to New York for about 4 years, and we wanted to come back home. Like,
Yeah.
This is a wonderful place, especially to raise a family. Northern Michigan in the summer is incredible, even in the winter. But yeah, like you said, 4 seasons, always something to do. Michigan really does have everything. So, in terms of cars, were you always a car person, or was it something that developed later in life? Like, what got you into cars?
yeah, so this is the story I get all the time. Who's this girl? I'm called the car girl, but
The
why?
car girl. Yeah.
And so I grew up with my dad being a truck driver. And in his spare time, he would work on Chevy trucks, 50s and 60s in our driveway, putting them together and making them be able to race the sand dunes on the
Oh, wow.
coastline. So my dad rebuilt, classic trucks. And then my grandfather, he owned a carburetor and electric shop and only worked on classic cars. So my sister drove a 1977 Delta 88 Oldsmobile.
It's a big one.
She drove that to high school, and I drove a 1966 Plymouth Fury 3.
Okay.
So we grew
Wow.
up driving
Yeah,
cars,
that's
and then
awesome.
I learned to drive on my 1981 Ford F-250 4-speed, and it's called Big Red. It's the truck I still have. My dad actually passed it on to me on Father's Day when my daughter was 12 years old, and it's the same time it was passed to my dad when I was 12 years old on Father's Day from my grandfather. So it's going to be a 4-generation truck, and it's not perfect, but it's perfect for me.
Yeah, and it's been in the family for that long. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sure the kids love it.
Yeah.
So was the Fury your first car?
Yeah, that was my first car, and then I got an Impala, and I
What
love
year was your
driving.
Impala?
It was an 85.
Okay.
Yeah,
I had
so
an 85 Caprice.
Oh,
which
really?
is, pretty much the same body style, but my Caprice was a piece. Like it was,
Yeah.
had no shock. The thing was just a piece
Yeah.
of junk, but I loved it.
I think what's really cool about classic cars is we didn't know they were classic cars when we
Right.
were driving them, especially when I was driving it to school. Everyone thought it was cool. I could smoke everybody. I had a 383 engine in it, so I was definitely on the line and racing all the guys in their cars. But I think now I wish we still had those vehicles because
For
they'd be
sure.
so cool. But
It's funny going to car shows with my boys, the cars that they gravitate to. Like for me, a classic car is like 70s and
yep,
before.
yep.
To them, like the cars that I grew up with, which were
The
just like,
90s,
even some of them are just normal
a
cars, but
Mazda Miata.
yeah, like some of them that I like, that was just a normal car.
Yeah,
Or the trucks, they love the late 90s Chevy
yeah,
Silverados. And I'm like, that was just a work truck, but to see like that's a classic car to them, it's kind of funny. And I'm like, they'll spend time looking at that. And I'm like, dude, let's go look at this, 72 Chevelle or this 68
yeah.
Camaro. Like, and they like those too, but like to them, it's, that's an ancient car.
Yeah, my daughter's the same way. She's 17 and she gravitates towards trucks, obviously, because we have Big Red, but she likes C10s and
C10 is nice. It's
yeah,
probably my favorite Chevy body style. I like a
hmm
square body. And of
yep,
course, I love the old like 50s trucks, but
yeah,
like probably my favorite is the C10 or the C10 Blazer. Those are really, really nice. I like that body
yeah.
style.
We also like Scouts. So my
Okay.
dad
Yeah.
still travels with one of his Peterbilts, and he travels around, the country going to truck shows, big truck shows. And we went to the International Harvester 2 years ago, and Peyton and I both fell in love with Scouts. And they're actually coming out with a new Scout, and
Really?
her and I are totally excited about
That's
it.
awesome.
Yeah, it's
Well,
pretty fun.
hopefully they don't, I feel like sometimes they try to bring back these older cars and sometimes they just ruin it. Like when they brought back the
It's pretty cool looking,
when they brought back
actually.
the GTO, I
I
thought,
know.
oh, it was such a, I've seen like, concepts of like a modern Chevelle, which none of them I
Hmm.
really like. I thought Ford Bronco did okay,
Yeah, I'm not a
but
big fan.
they really like the concepts that came out for the Bronco were incredible. It had a
Yeah.
real good retro vibe, and then when they actually produced it, it wasn't like the same. And so hopefully when they bring it back, I know they always try to improve on it, but I hopefully it doesn't lose the flavor. Um, so how did you get involved with Back to the Bricks?
That's a really good question. I get it kind of often. They're like, where did you come from? Well, I actually was working in construction. I was a project manager, estimator, and marketing. And I was a part of, and still am a part of, a group called the Flint Women's Forum. It's a great organization for women coming together, networking. It actually kicked off in 1980 with the Ruth Mott Foundation. She actually started the organization to bring women together to network, because there was always the good old boys club. They'd go have lunch together and they would network, and there was never a space for women. So they came up with this organization, and we were actually approached by Back to the Bricks to fundraise for the first female statue, Rosie the Riveter. So I remember sitting in that meeting, and it was Al Hatch and Jerry Preston and Joe Rundle. He's now passed away, but they were talking to us, and Andy Susky, and they were talking to us about we should be in charge of fundraising for this statue. And the rest of the ladies on the board, they weren't really interested because we weren't really a fundraising organization. But what they didn't know is I had just finished watching Bomb Girls, and it was like, a British show about the bomb makers and during the war. And I was like totally thrilled about this. And so I remember when they left, I walked out there and I said, regardless of whatever this organization says, I'm in. And they
Yeah,
kind of looked at me. I was like, you don't know who I am. You have no idea the pull I'm going to do for this, but I'm going to take this project on. And they're like,
awesome.
okay. Went back into the room and I just told all the ladies, I said, I'm going to do this. So I started forming a really good relationship with the Back to the Bricks organization. I started fundraising, took 2.5 years. I raised $47,000, and we were able to bring Rosie the Riveter to life. She's now on baggage belt 3, the return belt at Flint Bishop Airport. So,
I saw that. Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
was just
actually have it.
there probably 2 months ago, and I saw that. It was a really cool statue.
Yeah, so I was really thrilled to be a part of that, plus meet this amazing organization. And I truly fell in love with every single one of them because, it was a little bit of my past, watching my dad wrench on vehicles and my grandfather, take these vehicles that needed help, bring them back to life. And so I had been to a few of the events and really liked it. So, of course, I signed up for the newsletter, which I encourage everyone to do at backtothebricks.org. So I signed up for the newsletter, and sure enough, I get this email that says, we're looking for an executive director. So I read into it, and it was a part-time job, 20 hours a week. They just wanted someone to help with marketing and do some paperwork. And I was like, I can do that on my spare time.
Yeah.
And I applied. I went for an interview, and they told me it was only going to be 15 minutes, and it ended up being an hour and 15 minutes. So it was a good interview.
Yeah.
And then a couple months went by. I hadn't heard anything. And In December, I got a call and they said, "We want to offer you this job." I said, "I'll take it." I didn't even know what it was going to pay or
Yeah.
nothing. And they're like, "You really don't care?" I said, "I'm this passionate about community and this passionate about bringing something like this and just taking it to another level that I'd
Yeah.
do it for anything."
Yeah.
And what they didn't know is that on my dream board, everybody makes a dream board, right?
Sure.
On my dream board, it actually said to be CEO or executive director of a nonprofit organization.
That's awesome.
And it's always been in my heartstring. I've always volunteered. I've always given back to my community. And it was just another thing that I could say I did. And it's been so much more than that.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've actually going into this December will be 7 years. So I'm in my sixth year
Wow.
of working and being a part of this organization, now president of the organization, full-time job. It's turned into a full-time job,
Sure.
and I'm so blessed and honored to represent the many sponsors and the partners that help bring this to the community. And it's so fun to be known as the car girl.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
actually up in Petoskey, and I went to Torch Lake for the 4th of July for the first time. I've never been to Torch Lake. Unreal.
Beautiful.
And 3 different boats were like, "It's the car girl." And I'm not even kidding. My fiance and my daughter were like, "Really?
It's like
You
your
are?"
moniker. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, everyone knows you. And I'm
Yeah.
like, it's so cool because it's not just they know me, they know our organization. And that's what
Yeah.
it's all about,
Yeah.
is building your brand.
Absolutely. Well, that's a great story. And I know we're going to talk more about the actual event and Back to the Bricks. A lot of people know it just, as a car show, but there's a lot more that goes into it. And there's a
That's
lot
right.
more that the organization about. So tell the audience, like, what do you want people to know about the organization? It is a nonprofit and it
Yep.
does have a great mission. And a lot of people don't realize that. So what is the mission and what is the organization about?
Yeah, that's a great question. I get it all the time is, how is this a full-time job? It's just a car show. Well,
Right.
it's
Right.
so much more than a car show. So Back to the Bricks is a nonprofit, and our vision and mission is actually to promote and celebrate and honor our automotive history. And we don't learn enough about our local history in school anymore. And so it's our mission as an organization to continue to promote the good things that are happening. A couple of years ago, we honored and celebrated the 70th anniversary of the Corvette. The birthplace of the Corvette is here in Flint, Michigan.
Yeah.
The first 300 cars rolled off the line, and we had the honor of being able to, do a huge party at Flint Assembly, really just steps away from where the actual building was.
Yeah.
And then, we do another thing, another mission, which is honoring our automotive pioneers through our statues.
Yeah.
And we have 11 statues in our automotive collection, and they're spread throughout the downtown Flint area, with 5 of them being right in the heart of Flint, on Saginaw and Kearsley. And that's in our Automotive Pioneer Plaza. And it is a great spokes point, to say this is where some of the pioneers that really General Motors was founded here.
Yeah.
And you get to learn a little bit history of it. And we were able to unveil our 11th statue last year at our opening ceremony during Back to the Bricks. And the reason we did it was to actually honor the artist that created it, because he had passed away and we weren't ready. In fact, we're still not ready to have this statue be out there. And what I mean by that is we still have to fundraise for it. But we had to do it. We had to honor him and his family and all the work, because Joe Rundle is the local artist that did all of our statues. And we were so thankful and honored that he was able to complete that statue before he passed away. So recently, it's been installed and is now on the campus of the Sloan Museum. So we're still working on getting a sign out there with it, but ABC Hardy is our 11th statue, and it is a beautiful statue, and most people have no idea who this gentleman is.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best part about our organization, is we're honoring and highlighting individuals in our community that had such a great part in automotive history.
Right.
So yeah, it's
Well,
kind of fun
and I think
to promote.
I think people don't realize, a lot of people, even that grew up here, don't realize, a lot of places have, history related to war or to, special buildings or landmarks. But
That's right.
Michigan's history is so, like, the history of automotive
Yeah.
in Michigan is incredible. And a lot of the vehicles that people look at and admire at a car show are like, these were built, designed right here in Michigan.
Yeah.
And it's such a part of our history. And to me, I think one of the coolest things about going to a car show or going to an event like that is the nostalgia. Like, it brings you back to a time that you just felt was a better time, a
Yeah.
simpler time, an easier time. And I think everybody looks back on their childhood and thought, man, times were better then.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody does that. And maybe because it was simpler and we had less things to worry about, or, wasn't as much technology. But um, no, that's really cool to highlight. You guys are highlighting it. Now, are all your statues, are all the statues at Bishop your statues?
Nope, that's a really good question. So, three of the statues that are there are ours, which is
I have a very
Nash.
specific reason for asking that
That's
question.
okay. Nash and Chrysler and Rosie are part of our collection. And then the Old Newsboys has a statue there as well.
So the Nash one, so my name is Nash.
Oh,
My
okay.
dad's
Yeah.
name is Charles Nash. So I see that statue of Charles Nash there, and I never knew that there was a famous Charles Nash.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit, just for my own, tell me a little bit about, I don't know how much you know about Charles Nash, but I just thought it was interesting. It had my dad's name.
So, from what I understand, and you can find out more information online, Charles Nash actually gifted the property where the airport is. So, he
Okay.
was definitely a part of the automotive history, but he's also a part of the
Yeah.
airport.
Very
So,
cool.
yeah, and there's tons of stories online. We're working to put QR codes with each of our statues
That's a good
now.
idea.
So we have to kind of, change the way we do business, right?
Yeah.
That's things that I do behind the scenes, and being able to continue to elevate our presence and continue to spread our message. We have to do it with the changing of the time. So now you'll be able to scan QR codes and be able to go directly to our website and look on our community tab and see the statues information. One other thing that you had asked was, what part of the nonprofit and what do we do? One of our biggest things that we do is our scholarship program. So, we give back to the community $10,000 a year in scholarships to local seniors that are moving on to, college, secondary schools. And really, it's not about your grades. In fact, that's the last part of the scoring. What's really about is the essay and being going to technical school, automotive school, painting, auto body repair, marketing. We did have marketing added into that, aviation, any trades, and anything STEM related. So, for the past few years, I've been just so thrilled to see all of the applications come in because I've only been a part
Yeah.
of it for 5 years, 6 years now. And seeing 5 kids win these scholarships, but reading these essays as to why it means so much for them to win this scholarship. Some of them are like what you're saying. You bring your sons to a car show, and they're going to have these memories now. And what I'm reading in these scholarship applications is like, I remember going when I was a baby, and now I bring my dad's truck or my grandfather's vehicle,
Yeah.
and it actually made me want to go into auto body repair, or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So that's a part of our organization that may be small to some, but it's pretty big because our scholarships aren't targeted. So anyone that wins our scholarship, they're not going to lose a different scholarship for taking ours, which is most people don't realize that when these kids win all these scholarships, some of them actually cancel the other ones out.
Yeah.
And so ours is a general fund, which is pretty nice. It doesn't go towards books or, schooling specifically. It just goes into the kids' financial aid office, and they're able to use that money on whatever they see fit.
Perfect.
So we're really happy to continue doing that. And we do all of that through our Chrome and Ice event. So all of our proceeds from Chrome and Ice, which is our indoor winter car
Is
show in
that
February.
Dort Federal?
Yeah, Dort Financial Event Center.
Yeah.
Our VIP experience, and then our proceeds from that event go towards that scholarship fund. And it's just a great opportunity for us to continue to share the message of our great organization, but also give back to the community in which we love.
Today's episode is brought to you by AZ Branding Agency, where we help grow your brand from A to Z. If your business is great but nobody knows it, you don't have a marketing problem, you've got a branding problem. At AZ, we help you stand out with bold branding by creating websites, social media, video, and photography that actually gets noticed. Because attention is the #1 currency in business, and your brand deserves more of it. Learn more at azeebranding.com, and let's get your brand the attention it deserves.
Yeah. So, how does, I mean, I know, being a nonprofit and you guys don't charge to come to the events.
I
We've
know,
gone many
shocking,
times.
right?
Don't charge for anyone to have their car in it. So, how do people contribute to the organization, and where does the funding come from?
So we've been really blessed for over 12 years to have General Motors be one of our larger partners.
Yeah.
And they're continuing this year, which we're very excited about. It's never a guarantee. You have to
Yeah.
apply. But we do fit the mission and vision that they have, which is, promoting safe driving, which we do. We have a trailer that talks about safety, road safety, vehicle and road safety. And then also just continuing to share the history. But the rest of our funding comes from local partnerships.
Yeah.
So we're really diverse in who we bring on. I mean, we have a 3D printing company,
Yeah.
and they're literally at home. A small business gives back to the bricks because they see the
Means something.
value.
Yeah, it means something to them.
So we have your small mom and pop business to food trucks. They pay to be a part of Back to the Bricks. And it's not because, we're trying to overcharge, but they're understanding the value of bringing community together.
Yeah.
And so we've got just over 90 partners and sponsors. Now, I would say over half of them are non-paying. And you would be like, why do you do that? Well, actually, the things that they provide to us are what we call in-kind partnerships. And one of our biggest in-kind partnerships would be Goyette.
Yeah.
And what Goyette does for Back to the Bricks is absolutely phenomenal. Goyette Mechanical spends 3 days in downtown Flint completely setting up our flat lot to power our event. And you would think, okay, well, it's a lot of work.
It's a lot,
It's
yeah.
from sun up to sundown. And Goyette Mechanical is by far one of the coolest partners around. They're always coming up with innovative ideas on how we can make things easier for the car guy to bring their vehicles in and not have to be, they strang electricity up in the air this last year. And
Very
that's
cool.
just an example of a really great in-kind partnership.
Yeah.
And we have many, many more in-kind partnerships, but that helps lower the cost that we have to spend because it's very expensive to put on a big car show.
certain,
I mean,
yeah.
32 events throughout the year with only a few of them actually someone paying something to attend. It's pretty costly. And we're talking about an operating budget of over $465,000. And just our insurance alone for Back to the Bricks is over $30,000 a year.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
Porta Johns, believe this or not,
Yeah.
is one of our most expensive
can imagine, yeah.
expenses. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty crazy.
No, well, I can imagine. That's what you wonder, like when like this is free and they're not charging, you wonder, like, where does the funding come from? And so it's
So-
good to kind of have an understanding. There's a lot of businesses and donors that,
Yeah.
this event means something to them, and it does showcase the history of Michigan. And so I know we've talked a lot about the organization,
Mhm.
which I think is very important for people to know. And I think if you ask the average person on the street, what is Back to the Bricks? I think they would say a car show.
Correct.
But I think most people in this area know the name. What would you want people to know they're going to experience at a Back to the Bricks event?
Yeah. So one of the things that I talk about is family friendly, safe event, but it's all about camaraderie. And we were talking before, and one of the coolest things is when you come to a Back to the Bricks event, you're going to run into our veterans. You're going to run into a guy or a gal wearing their veteran hat, and you're going to be able to talk to them about their history, about what they've done. And, it's more than a car. It's building a relationship with some pretty amazing humans that might not necessarily have that opportunity to talk. I've kind of voluntold my daughter for the last 6 years where to go and what to do, but at the end of the day, she loves it.
Yeah.
She has had the best relationships built at Back to the Bricks car shows.
Yeah.
And she's actually writing thank you cards still for her graduation because it's such a huge family. Everybody contributed to her and gave her a card. But, she's got to meet some pretty amazing veterans that have served this country and first responders and, our police department and our firefighters, and hearing their stories. And
Yeah.
Her and I talk all the time about the people we get to meet that we never would have the opportunity to rub elbows with. And, being able to meet executives at General Motors like Heidi Magar and Kevin Kurbitz and be able to talk about the mission and vision they have and learn the history of Factory One, which is a beautiful carriage company that, is owned by General Motors now. And it's just a great history point, in Flint, Michigan, and learning so much about our community and the great people that are in it. I mean, you had talked before about, the things that are unknown. Well, the Prowler was actually invented by a local Genesee County guy
Oh, really?
in his car or, in his garage.
Yeah.
And he, sketched it out and had it on the wall in his car. And, it's like he kind of invented the ZZ Top car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like kind of cool.
Yeah, it's crazy that Plymouth actually produced that, like it's
Yeah.
so cool, but
Yeah. And
you
that
don't,
these people come right from the heart of Flint, Michigan.
yeah, that's incredible. So, the main event is in Flint,
Mm-hmm.
Vehicle City,
Yep.
right downtown, and we've been many times. Um, Talk about, to the person who's never come before.
Mm-hmm.
What are they going to experience when they come to Back to the Bricks?
I think one of the coolest things about Back to the Bricks is, of course, it's free. So you're going to struggle. You're going to have people that'll say, well, I want to go to Woodward Dream Cruise. That's great. We don't compete with Woodward Dream Cruise.
Yeah.
We love them. In fact, Woodward Dream Cruise and Back to the Bricks are great partners. We
Yeah.
share each other's information. We're completely different animals.
Sure.
What you experience when you come to Back to the Bricks is an extreme car show. It really is 3,500 classic cars and trucks aligning 1.1 miles in downtown Flint, filling every road, side street. And you're getting car clubs, you're getting some unique car organizations like the Hearse car organization comes, they're a car club and they have all their hearses.
Mm-hmm.
We have vintage campers that come to our organization. We have an entire section of first responder classic cars, fire trucks, police cars. There's so many different gamuts of car collectors that'll be there. Not to mention all the cars, but you have a Corvette reunion. And that is over 400, 500 Corvettes up at the Durant. You have Buicks on the bricks that are over at Factory One. This all is happening simultaneously during this major event in downtown Flint.
And it's multiple days, right?
So we kick off on August 11th, and that is at US 23 Drive-In. It's our annual Bricks Flicks. It's a beautiful event. It's completely free. We get over 1,500 cars to this thing. And this year we're featuring the F1 movie.
Oh, cool.
So we know it's even going to be bigger and better because this movie's still in the theaters, for
Yeah.
heaven's sake. So we know it's going to be great. We're
Yeah.
really excited to have some cool race cars there on brand and going with the movie. And then we do Wednesday and Thursday. I know you've had Leela Forrest on as
she was just here.
a podcast. So she actually is hosting an event called Roll On In, which will take place on August 12th at the Grand Blanc High School. That's during our historic 2-day rolling cruise.
Wow.
So the rolling cruise is 7 miles. It's from Flint to Grand Blanc and back, and it is bumper to bumper fun. I always say if you're in the downtown area and you're wanting to go to Grand Blanc, take a back road because it'll take you 2.5 hours to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
fun. Then Friday, we're back down in downtown Flint for our Cruise In Family Fun concert. This year, we're featuring opening act Allentown, which is a Billy Joel tribute band. And our headliner is Looking Back, which is a Bob Seger tribute band. And the entire concert is a tribute to Night Moves, if you can even believe it, is 50 years old.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So we have quite a bit of cars down there on Friday. So there's a car show on Friday, but the biggest is on Saturday.
Yeah.
Featuring some beautiful cars on display, military vehicles, a huge opening ceremony with a military flyover at 10 a.m. And this year, we're going to honor a Veteran of the Year.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so
Very
we're
cool.
really thankful. Our partnership with Huntington Bank has helped, really push this forward. To give over 400 veteran T-shirts away. We give away over 750 free T-shirts to the whole community, which is super fun. So they get a collector T-shirt when they come to the event, and they just get to have fun. There's food trucks, there's vendors, and then there's this one really important part that we do, and that's we have an economic impact on the downtown Flint area.
I'm
So
sure.
bars, restaurants, the shops are open, people are shopping, people are enjoying themselves, and it's a really safe opportunity for you to come out, see the beauty that is downtown Flint, and see these beautiful cars.
It's a lot of fun. I'll say from personal experience, like even if you just like cars, you don't love cars.
Right.
If you like cars, like you will enjoy this event.
Yeah.
To walk around and see all the different things on display. Like I said, it's not just classic
No,
cars.
there's
all
vendors.
the
There's so many cool
food trucks and
displays.
there's little things. There's lots of things to do. Your kids will love it. Your parents will love it. Like it's a lot of fun. It's a great event. So I want to talk a little bit about, you guys have an event coming to Owasso.
Yeah.
And we have it right here. It's called Owasso Tune-Up Week, or Owasso Tune-Up
Party.
Party. Thank you.
Yep,
Yep.
yep.
This
So
is it right here.
it's a part of our 6 days of tune-up parties. So in years past, this has been an entire week. So it was Monday through Saturday. It was every night, car show, car show, car show. And the feedback that we got from our volunteers and our committee is we have to split it up. It's so much, 6 days in a row of putting on events with only
Yeah.
one day off, and then we do 6 more days the next week. So
Yeah.
this year
Go
is
wear
all
everybody
new.
out.
And we actually split it up, and they're called tune-up party weekends. So the first week is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, which is going to be the 29th. And that kicks off in Davison at the Hub. And then Thursday, which is what you're talking about, July 30th, will be right here in downtown Owasso.
Yeah.
We are
love
so
that.
pumped to
Yeah,
come to Owasso.
I love that. Well, I know there's a lot of car people here, a lot of car guys, car gals. And I think, if you are watching this and you're in this area, if you've taken your cars to car shows, get involved with this one. There's going to be
Yeah.
a lot of eyes on this. There's going to be a lot of people. If you want to showcase your car, what types of cars are you looking for? I know some people like maybe have a cool car, right? My car's too new, or
Nothing's too
my
new.
car's not restored, so it's
That's
not
okay.
car show worthy. Like, what are the types of cars that you look for?
I want everyone to ask themselves, do they love their car?
Yeah.
And if you love your car, regardless of what it looks like to anyone else, you are a Back to the Bricks car fan.
There you go.
And one of the things that we deal with is the too new. How new is too new? Well, I also take part in Mid-Michigan Mayhem, which is a very large truck show. And I will tell you, these kids, and that's what they are,
Yeah.
these kids put a lot of energy, money, and time into their big lifted trucks.
Oh, yeah.
And they're the next generation of car enthusiasts.
Yeah.
And we love them. We want them to be a part of it. We want them to have fun because, quite frankly, these classic car owners, they're amazing. They're awesome, but they're also, we're losing them every
Yeah.
single day.
Yeah.
And I discourage anyone that is given a car by someone who's passed away to put it on Facebook and sell it. Don't
Yeah.
sell it.
Yeah.
Figure out why your family member loved that car so much. And it might take a little bit. It might take you driving it around. It might take you going to car shows, but do it before you quickly put it on Facebook or sell it on the internet.
Yeah.
Drive the car. I'm telling you, the stories that I get from these second, third, and fourth generation, I'm so glad I kept my grandpa's car. I'm so glad I took dad's car out for the ride. Thank you for including us. Thank you for hosting events that we can experience what my dad, my grandpa, my mom, my grandma experienced. Nothing is too new. Nothing is too old. We want everything because at the end of the day, we're a car community.
Yeah.
Now, let me say this. Is there a little bit of discourse for a Tesla? Is there a little bit of, snubbiness for a brand new Corvette? Sure. But guess what? Those people love those cars and we want them to come.
Yeah. There are times where I walk through a car show and I'm like,
why is that here?
Why did they put that there? But you're right. I think that's a great description of they love their car.
That's right.
They wanted to show it off. And that's cool. I know for me, I just shared with you that I just recently bought a 2017 Camaro.
I love it.
It's a beautiful car. It's a racer blue. It's souped up. It's got a lot of horsepower. And buying the decision was there's nothing practical about owning a Camaro.
No.
They say it's a 4-seater, but the back seat is not.
It's non-existent.
You can't fit anyone back there.
Yeah.
It's not a grocery getter. It's tough to be a daily driver. It's a pure fun decision.
That's
and
right.
what ultimately led to me making the decision was I want to make memories with my kids.
That's right.
And driving to car shows in it. My son happens to be a dealer and he's a car salesman at Young's right here in Owasso.
Awesome.
And so he sold me the car. So that was cool. And then, my other son is a mechanic. And so they
car
love
family. I love it.
Yep. And so my youngest son has a Mustang, a 2004 Mustang.
Perfect.
My other son has a 92 Corvette. He loves the C4.
Perfect.
So we went cruising, and they're taking pictures and they got these big smiles on their faces and they're almost more excited than I am just to go on a cruise with dad and the memories that we're going to make. It's worth every penny,
You're the epitome of Back to the Bricks.
Yeah.
Literally, you're building the generational, legacy of these cars. And although you think in your head that's a newer car, it's still a show car because you love it, because you and your kids are going to have that experience together. And
Yeah.
that's ultimately what it's totally about.
Well, and it started with my dad used to take me to car shows, you know.
Yeah.
My grandfather, he worked for GM and he owned 6 different Corvettes throughout his
Wow.
life. And then, he had a stroke before I really had an opportunity to know him, but my dad would always talk about his Corvettes. He had this really cool poster that he gave to me from his dad. It was like every Corvette from like, I guess it would have been from 1953
Yep.
all the way up to, at that time, I think it would have been like maybe the late 80s or early 90s. And it had every Corvette. And that hung in my room, and it always made me love Corvettes. And so then my dad took me to car shows, and it just created these wonderful memories with my dad. And we would sit there and, we'd like, oh, that's a 64 Malibu or a 64 Impala,
Yes.
or that's a 72 Chevelle. Like, and we try to outdo each other on who knew more about the cars.
I
And
see that all the time.
yeah. And then, it became a fun thing. And then, I started taking my boys to the car shows. And so it does become this like generational thing,
Yep.
makes great memories. It's so wholesome. Like you said earlier, it's family, it's Americana, there's veterans there. It's all the best things about our country, I think. And
I
so
think so too.
to me, it just makes so many great memories. And I think for those of you watching, if you've never done a car show, well, like, what are you doing? Number one, but Back to the Bricks would be a great introduction to
Yeah,
it, because
absolutely.
you go at your own pace. You walk along the road and you can stop and look. You can walk on by. You can
Yep.
talk to the car people and ask them about and trust me, almost everyone will love to answer questions about their car.
It's so funny
And
that you
so-
say that because, we see at, different car shows, don't touch, blah, blah, blah. And we get that.
Yeah.
People have put their hard-earned
They
money
put
into
lots
it.
of money into
But
some
you
of
know
those.
what a car would never say is don't ask a question. And one of the coolest things that I see is these new other podcasters, other photographers, they go up to these car owners and they start asking a question, and half an hour to an hour later,
Oh, yeah.
they're walking away and they have the biggest smile on their
Yeah.
face because that car
There's a
owner
story.
has told them a story.
100%. Like every car, even the newer ones that you're like, why?
Exactly.
I think I saw a Dodge Neon at the one I went recently, and that was like an economy car. I think I did driver's training in a Dodge Neon.
Yeah, but you don't know. It could have a
But-
sleeper engine in it.
But they did this, they tuned it, and
yeah,
you
those
know,
are fun.
And it's funny, a couple of my boys love these like tuner cars.
Yep, I love tuner
And
cars.
I'm not a tuner car. Like to me, I'm like we were at this car show recently, and they're looking at this Nissan something or other, and it's got all these insane graphics along the side, and it's got this supercharger, and they're just drooling over them. I'm like, that is just so ugly. I call them rice burners, but that's me.
Yeah.
But I still love sitting there and seeing them admire it and enjoy it. And,
Yeah.
like I say, I would rather look at an old muscle car. My
Yeah.
dad used to love to look at the old, 30s and 40s rat rods. and,
Yeah, I'm a rat rod through.
yeah,
and through.
I mean, so
love
like
rat
everyone
rods.
has their thing, and there is really something for everyone, and
Yeah.
everyone has some connection
Mhm.
to a car.
I mean, really,
whether it's-
my favorite thing to do is when I go and speak in public is who owns a car,
Yeah, exactly.
and everyone has to raise their hand. I mean, I literally have met one person who doesn't own a car, and she's awesome,
Yeah.
and I love her. She takes public
well, I mean,
transportation
whether
everywhere.
it's
But
your connection is a car that you admire from a distance,
that's right.
or a car that you're like, man, if I had money, I would buy that, or it's something you owned, even if you had a beater, or it takes you back. A friend of yours had this car, and so like it will bring up, like just walking through, it just brings up so many good memories and nostalgia. So
For sure.
what is one of the most unique things that you can recall seeing in terms of vehicles? What's one of the most unique things you've ever seen at Back to the Bricks?
It's actually not as unique as you would think. It's pretty normal, but for me, it's a story. And I worked for the Flint and Genesee Chamber of Commerce. And I walk outside. I really don't know anything about Back to the Bricks. This is well before I learned anything about them. And my boss at the time was Heather Kale, and she's like, let's go outside and see these cars. I'm like, okay. So we go outside. This was on Thursday. It was when Hot Dogs and Hot Rods was going to happen. And I turn and see a teal 57 Chevy. And I flash back to being a kid and getting this exact car for my Barbies.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I
Yeah.
had this memory, and I walk up and the lady's standing there. I said, this your car? And she's like, yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to sit in this car. Can I sit in this car? And she's like, yeah, you can sit in the car. So I took this picture. So I remember this car, and I was like, oh my gosh. So then flash forward. She comes to every car show. She goes
Yeah.
on the promo tour with this
Yeah.
car. I know her personally now. I see this car. I have this great memory with her. And she always says, you remember before you knew who we were? I said,
Yeah.
yep, I
Yeah.
sat in your car.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a thing for me because I
That's awesome.
know that I have that little story and that other people get the same thing. But if you were to say something super unique, there is a General Motors bus. It's like a red and white bus. And before I knew anything about Back to the Bricks, this thing was open and it tours the United States actually, and it was on the flat lot. And we've actually thought about bringing it back because it was such a huge hit.
Yeah.
But museum cars are really fun to see out at our events, and we get those quite often.
Yeah.
This year, kind of a little spoiler, but this year at our event, we're going to have 25 um, classic Chevrolets from the Chevrolet Club of America. So they're coming from Ohio and Indiana, and they're going to be on display at our event. We're really excited about it.
That's awesome.
So
Well,
cars we've never seen before.
if somebody wants to get a hold of you about putting their car in,
Yep.
whether it be here in Owasso or one of the other tune-up parties or at the main event,
Yep.
what is the best way for them to get a hold of you and get their car entered?
Yeah, so there's so many multiple ways to sign up. So signing up is free. Our events outside are always free. If we do a judged car show, sometimes there's a $10 fee, but that just goes towards the awards. Everything in July and August is completely free. So our tune-up parties and our complete main event week, to include the main event show, is free. We do ask for registration because each night during the tune-up parties, we give away 250 collector t-shirts. So on each t-shirt is featured a different design, and it's a car owner, and they get to be highlighted at each of these tune-up
cool.
parties. So Owasso will have its own car and its own car owner on their t-shirt, but the only way to win is to sign up. And really, those numbers are for our internal workings to share with our sponsors and our partners, but also for us to be prepared. Last year we had over 3,000 people sign up for tune-up parties, and each night we were 900 to 1,000 cars, which to some people is a very, very large number.
Yeah.
But to a city like Owasso, they need to know that.
Yeah,
They need to know
yeah.
what's coming. We go to the Lapeer the next night on Friday, July 31st, and they held their first tune-up party last year, and we just filled that entire city. It was awesome. So
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what happens here in Owasso. But how you sign up is super easy. You go to backtothebricks.org, or you go to any of our Facebook events, and we have the link right in there. It's just
Perfect.
a Google form. You sign up. You pick a size of a t-shirt because guarantee you're going to win a t-shirt. There's
Yeah.
opportunities for everybody to win. To include at main event, we do 750 giveaway t-shirts.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So we need more cars here in Owasso.
Yeah, we
want,
do.
I'm excited to go to
Me
the
too.
main event, of course, but right here in my hometown. So I actually just won Mr. Owasso
You
about a month
did?
ago. So from Mr. Owasso,
I
I'm
love
telling you,
it.
to our community, we got to let's break some records here in Owasso. Let's get all the car people out. Go to the website, get signed up, and let's have an awesome Back to the Bricks event here in Owasso.
Yeah.
So before we're going to do a fun thing at the end where I'm
Okay.
going to ask you 10, we have this segment we call Say It in 60. And usually
Okay.
it's like business questions. We're going to have some fun today. We're going to do car questions.
Okay.
But they're all about you.
Oh boy.
And so before we do that, though, I want to give you an opportunity to look into this camera right here
Okay.
and tell everybody everything you want them to know about Back to the Bricks, how to connect. I know you already said it, some of the things, but give the plug that you want people to know about this event.
Back to the Bricks is a spectacular organization fueling the community with all the history and the heritage of the automobile, and you can be involved too. We want volunteers. We want those that love events, love cars, love community to sign up, and you can sign up at backtothebricks.org. There's some other ways you can get involved is just show up. You don't have to have a classic car or a show car to be involved with Back to the Bricks, but come and enjoy the community, enjoy your community. We're coming to 6 different locations over the course of our tune-up parties, and then our main event will be, of course, in downtown Flint. So how we fund it? Donations. You can do that by signing up and clicking the donation link, or, and I'm totally giving you guys a spoiler, we have a members only program.
Exclusive announcement.
Exclusive announcement. We have rolled out a members only program. This is your opportunity car fan or not, to get involved with the Back to the Bricks organization. And the information is simple. You go to backtothebricks.org/members only. Find out more about how you can be involved, how you can give back to an organization in this community. It's a tax donation, so it's an opportunity, but you can also get exclusive information behind the scenes, our annual report, 10% off merchandise at any Back to the Bricks event. And also, you're really helping fuel our organization.
All right. So check that out. I think it's really, really cool. The members only thing is awesome. I remember the members only jackets from the 80s. You remember those? Are you old enough to remember those?
We're doing a hat now.
Yeah.
A hat and a sticker,
But
guys.
listen, it's cool to be part of a club, and I can see a lot of car guys and car girls getting into that. So, okay. Let's go on to our segment. Micah, do you have a timer for us?
I'm like nervous.
All right. So again, these are questions that are really like your preference.
Okay.
All right. So there's no wrong answer because it's just yours. And if she answers something that's different than your car or the type of car you like, it's okay. It's her opinion, right? Everyone has their favorites. So
Good. Okay.
okay. Are we ready? Micah? All right. The timer starts now. Ford or Chevy?
Ford.
Mustang or Camaro?
Camaro.
Favorite car you've ever owned?
1981 Ford F-250. I still own it.
Dream car if money was no object?
Z01 Camaro 1979.
Most underrated classic car?
A Corvette.
Manual or automatic?
Ugh, manual all the way.
Favorite decade of automobiles?
Ooh, the 70s.
Mopar or Ford?
Ooh, Ford.
Muscle car or sports car?
Muscle.
Best road trip vehicle ever made?
Station wagon.
Last question. One car you would buy back if you could?
Ooh, the Impala I had.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Did we do it? 15 seconds remaining. Studio audience, round of
I'm
applause.
like sweating, you guys.
Good job.
And
she really is a car girl.
And
right?
it's so funny that you say don't judge me, because I do get judged because I'm a Ford
sure.
girl. I'm in a GM community and
Yeah.
I have a Ford, but I think it's my story.
Yeah.
You know, my grandfather bought that truck 2 weeks before I was born.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's
incredible.
literally been in
Yeah.
my life, my whole
Well, and
life.
there's a lot of Ford, I know that, but there's a lot of Ford around here
Yeah.
too, and I get it. Everyone has their thing. And it's funny, like diehard GM people
Mhm.
or especially like diehard Chevy people or diehard Ford people, like they really are, they get adamant about it, but
It's the same thing.
everyone has their preference, right?
Yeah, it's the same thing that we see at car shows. Why do you let all those Corvettes in? Why do you let all those Buicks here? Why?
Yeah.
It's like,
Right.
just because you don't like it doesn't mean it's not amazing.
Well, in a world full of like hot debates on social media that involve politics and religion and everyone gets offended, it's nice to have a debate about something that really is just fun.
I know.
Like your favorite sports team or your favorite car. Like these are all just
49ers,
very
by the way. The
Yeah.
49ers all the way.
There you go. These are all very opinion-based
Yeah.
things that people can argue back and forth and still be friends at the end of it. And it used to be in America where you could even argue about which president you liked and you
Yep,
didn't.
that's
and It was
right.
fine.
You
Like it
can't
was
anymore.
totally okay. Yeah. Now you have to pick a side, and I think it's social media ruined it. But hey, cars is one of those things to me that there's something for everyone.
It
There's
truly
something
is.
for everyone to enjoy.
It allows every generation to be included.
Yeah.
And I think if you look at other collections, let's just take trains, for example. Do you remember back in the day when guys used to collect trains in their basement and they had all these?
Oh, yeah.
That wasn't my generation. I mean, I liked watching, my friends work on them, but it wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
But cars is everyone's thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love that for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. So go check it out. Go
Yeah.
check it out for sure. Come to one of the tune-up parties. It says there, Owasso, Davison, Lapeer, Flushing, Fenton, and Mount Morris.
Mhm.
I got it right because I read it right here.
Yeah.
And then the main event is in downtown Flint
That's
and then
right.
the surrounding areas. Before we go, is there anything else you want to say that we haven't covered today?
I think the biggest thing about Back to the Bricks is that everyone should know we're more than a car show.
Yeah.
We're a family and everyone's welcome. I'm ready to give you fist bumps or hugs, regardless of what you prefer. And everyone feels welcome when they come to our event. And that's what we truly embody is everyone can come and have a great time.
Yeah. And I will attest to that. Like, so Amber, thank you for coming on
Yeah.
the show. We appreciate it. We hope we have a great Owasso event. We hope Owasso shows out.
That's right. Let's
and
go,
that we
Owasso.
represent our town well, and let's get lots of cars here. And listen, I would just say again, whether you would consider yourself a car enthusiast or a car guy or a car girl, go to a car show. I'm just telling you, it's a fun event. It will stir up some memories in you. It will. If you're a grandparent, take your grandkids. If you're a parent, take your kids. If you're a kid, call dad and say, "Hey, dad, you want to go to a car show with me?"
That's right.
I'm telling you, it will be an enjoyable experience. It doesn't cost anything. What in our world doesn't cost anything now? So
Exactly.
go have fun, support a great organization, and make some memories.
That's right.
So to me, that's what having a cool car or having a car you love is about. It's about making memories, right? It's about
100%.
making memories. So again, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you all for watching. Remember, as my mother always said, you can't and never could until you tried. So go out there and try something great, my friends, and don't take the easy way out. We'll see you next time.
Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. We want to connect with you. Drop a comment, share your thoughts, and let us know what guests you want us to have on the podcast. Follow us on social media for more branding insights, and thanks for watching Behind the Brand.